If you're watching this video, that means you're probably experiencing a pretty long plateau in your fitness journey. And this happens to all of us. But maybe you feel like your plateau happened too soon and that you've only been training for a few months or maybe only 1 year. Plateaus usually happen after about 4 to 5 years. That's when it's normal. But before that, your progress should still be pretty fast. So I'm going to explain to you why you might have plateaued early and how to get out of that plateau and start progressing like you did before. So, the first problem is that you might not have realistic expectations. I know this might sound strange to hear, but you might not be in a plateau at all. Let me explain. So, when you scroll on Instagram, as most people do, you see people posting their body transformations pretty often, or sometimes just their body, and it seems like theirs is so much better than yours. And sometimes they even put a time frame for how long they've been training, and it seems like they've achieved better results than you in a shorter amount of time, and that makes you feel like you did something wrong. But maybe, and this is most cases, maybe they could have better genetics, they could be lying about how long they've been training, they could be on steroids, or they could be photoshopping their pictures. All of these are advantages that they might have that you do not. So it's foolish and unrealistic to compare yourself to them, because obviously, if someone photoshops their pictures and takes steroids, you're never going to be able to compete with that. But if you compare to what you used to look like, and if you compare to what people actually look like, you realize that not only have you improved a lot, you're also in the very top percentile of fitness if you have been training long enough to hit a plateau. So, that eliminates most people, but some people still do experience this premature plateau in their fitness journey. So I'm going to explain why that is and how to stop it. So, the first reason is that you train with no plan. If you don't have a plan, you can't possibly progressive overload. If you don't have a plan, you're just gonna walk into the gym, do whatever you feel like, and we already know how that ends up in other areas of self-improvement. If we just let ourselves do whatever we feel like and follow our emotions, we're never going to be able to achieve anything, because all our emotions want to do is survive, not thrive. Evolutionarily, they just want instant gratification and instant pleasure and dopamine. Your body is going to want you to eat that sugar. Your body's going to want you to watch TV and relax. So why do you would trust it? You have to use your more advanced part of your brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is the one that can actually make good, logical decisions on how to not only survive, but thrive in this world. The opposite of the prefrontal cortex, which is what your body is thinking with when it wants to eat that junk food or watch that TV, is the amygdala. This is also called the lizard brain. And that's what we want to avoid listening to. So when we have a plan, we're using our prefrontal cortex because we're not influenced by emotions when making that plan. The only emotion that might be influencing you is ego, and that you think you could do more than you actually do. But trust me, you'd rather have that problem than have the problem of going into the gym and doing what you feel like, and then not training hard enough because you only did as much work as you felt like doing that day. So, another thing, you don't progressive overload. Some people train with a plan and they record their workouts, but they feel too scared to improve or to push harder every time. They feel like they should stay at the same level. So there's people who will be doing the same weight for the same amount of reps, same amount of sets for weeks at a time when they could do more. And what's stopping them from doing more is that they're scared of injury, or don't want to train that hard, can we stop popping up with that like button, bro? It's kind of stupid. Okay, anyway. They're scared of injury, or they're scared to train harder. Now, being scared to train harder is understandable because it's not a pleasant experience to train hard, especially if you're new. But the way to get through this is just, again, to measure your intensity. We can measure our intensity by seeing how far we are from failure. And we can also progressive overload by getting closer to failure each time. So the way you measure how far away you are from failure is really by going to failure on every exercise at least a couple times, so you know how far away from failure each rep feels like. I know it kind of might sound like gibberish right now, but imagine this. Failure is when you can't complete another rep, when you can't push the weight with clean form. So let's say that you reach failure within 12 reps. Then you know what the 10th rep feels like. It's 2 reps away from failure. And then let's say that on another exercise, you get that feeling that you did on the 10th rep, on the 6th rep. That means that you're two reps away from failure, and that failure will be on the 8th rep. And also, there are some more advanced training techniques that I can mention, even specifically. If you are training for long enough and you feel like there's no way to train harder. So, supersets, specifically for one muscle. Supersets on one muscle are going to completely exhaust it and make it feel horrible in a good way. Drop sets, again, is an advanced training technique that's pretty good for muscle growth and for strength. Other things could probably be going beyond failure, assisted reps, half reps, stretching at the bottom position, controlling the eccentric. All of these you're probably familiar with, but you might forget to use within your training, within your day-to-day training. You might just be going through the motions, and that's another problem that most people face. They're not focused on their workout, they're just going through the motions. So obviously they're not going to be able to follow any of the steps in the video unless we fix that first. The way you do this is that you actually physically bring your focus to the training, and that can be done with, some people can do it better without music, some people do it better with music. As a rule, the less distractions you have, the better you are gonna focus on the workout. So yeah, that's about it for today. Follow my Patreon, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and embrace progress, not perfection. See ya.